On the night of our second wedding anniversary, I received a call from a number I didn't recognize. Your wife is in another man's bed. I rushed home, heart pounding, and pulled up the security footage. There was my wife, Vivian, being plied with drinks by her best friend. It's just for fun, the friend urged. He's on a business trip. He won't even know. The scene cut to a hotel corridor. Vivian was wrapping her arms around the neck of my old high school classmate. Actually, she slurred, I've never been able to forget you. Fighting down the bile rising in my throat, I calmly searched her credit card statement. She had used my card to buy that man a designer belt. Later, she would kneel at home, weeping, begging for forgiveness. He seduced me. Lola told me to just try it. Rain lashed against the massive floor-to-ceiling windows of the hotel suite, blurring the neon kaleidoscope of the Chicago skyline outside. The heating was cranked up, but my fingertips were ice cold. I had just disconnected from a grueling transatlantic video conference, my ears still ringing with the drone of a heavy British accent. On the table sat the anniversary special room service dinner I had ordered for myself, a cold steak with white grease congealing on the plate, looking pathetic and solitary. The bottle of red wine was half empty. Today was my second anniversary with Vivian Sterling. It was also the 17th day of my business trip. My phone screen lit up. A local number, no contact name. I frowned, my fingers sluggish with exhaustion, but I slid the bar to answer. A wall of noise hit me, jarring music and the roar of crowd. Hello. My voice was raspy from hours of talking. A strange male voice, clearly drunk and deliberately lowered, drilled into my ear. Every word felt like a shard of ice. Mr. Mora, right? Heh, just thought I'd tell you something. Doing a brother a favor. Absent-mindedly, I picked up a fork and poked the cold, hard beef. Your wife. TSK Vivian, right? Right now, she's lying in someone else's bed. The Hyatt Regency, room 1608. Getting hot and heavy. Saw it with my own eyes. Can't be wrong. The voice was intermittent, punctuated by lewd laughter and background shouting. Her bestie. That Lola Reed. She personally delivered her. Huh, they really know how to play. The fork clattered onto the bone china plate, the sharp sound exploding in the overly quiet room. It felt like an invisible hand had clenched my heart. Blood rushed to my head, then froze instantly, a chill spreading down my spine to the soles of my feet. The noise in my ear faded into a dull buzz, leaving only the drunk, malicious voice echoing in my brain. You're full of shit. My throat felt like it was clogged with gravel. I roared the words out, the voice unrecognizable as my own. Believe it or not, room 1608. Go see for yourself. The stranger let out a weird yelp, full of poisonous schadenfreude, before the line went dead. The busy signal beep, 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 sawed at my nerves like a dull knife. I stared at the phone screen as it dimmed, then violently tapped it awake. My fingers trembled uncontrollably as I opened the Nest home security app. The loading seconds felt like a century. On the screen, the familiar living room, dining room, hallway, all empty. No sign of Vivian. It was our anniversary. 11:37 p.m. She wasn't home. My hand shook so hard I could barely hold the device. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stabilize, and dragged the timeline back with savage force. 8:23 p.m. Finally, movement. The door opened. Vivian walked in wearing the red dress I bought her, her cheeks flushed with alcohol, her steps unsteady. Following her was her best friend, Lola Reed. Lola's sharp features were twisted with excitement, a half-empty wine bottle in her hand. Viv, listen to me. An opportunity like this doesn't come twice. Lola's voice came through the camera's microphone, urgent and inciting. She pushed Vivian down onto the ottoman in the foyer. It's Chase Parker. How long did you have a crush on him in high school? Now he's rich, single. And did you see the way he looked at you? Vivian seemed to hesitate, fiddling with the hem of her dress. Lola, stop. I'm married. So what if you're married? What century is this? It's just for fun. That Lucas Morrow of yours, he's a work robot. Runs around the world all year, leaving you at home like a widow? What does he know? Does he even deserve to control you? Vivian hung her head lower, silent, her long wavy hair obscuring her profile. Think about it. If it wasn't for Chase's family issues back then, you two would have been together ages ago. Lola leaned in, her voice dropping to a seductive whisper. The chance is right in front of you. He was all over you today. He looked like he wanted to eat you alive. Don't you want to try? Just once. What are you afraid of? Nobody knows but you and me. Lucas the fool is halfway across the world. How would he know? On the screen, Vivian's shoulders trembled slightly. Lola kept hammering away. Listen to me, Viv. We women have to live for ourselves. Who are you being a saint for? Go take a shower. Put on something sexier. Chase is waiting for you at the Hyatt, room 1608. Don't keep him waiting. Seize the night. Vivian slowly raised her head. The hesitation in her eyes was replaced by a complex mix of drunkenness and glazed longing. She didn't look at Lola, just gave a low The sound was light, feather soft, but it crashed against my eardrums like a boulder. 8:45 p.m. Vivian reappeared in the hallway wearing a black slip dress I had never seen before, exposing her back and shoulders. Lola adjusted the hem for her, stuffed a small clutch into her hand, a triumphant smirk on her face. Go get him, babe. Enjoy yourself. Text me later. Lola pushed her out the door. Bang! The door closed. The screen showed only the cold, lifeless foyer. My breathing stopped. The blood surging through my body froze into ice in every limb. My brain felt like a red-hot iron had been shoved into it. Burning pain and bone-chilling cold intertwined. Hyatt, room 1608. The name was a poison needle driven into my temples. My fingers, numb and stiff, navigated the phone. No calls. No confrontations. A cruel calmness like a thick shell of ice instantly sealed the volcanic magma erupting in my chest. I opened the banking app for the supplementary card attached to my account. Refresh. The latest transaction lashed my eyes like a barbed whip. Today 19:48:32 merchant. Lux International, Hyatt Plaza, amount, $1, 888. 00 description. Men's belt, classic collection. Before midnight. Yap Plaza. A men's belt. A belt worth nearly $2,000. Wrapped in a bag I paid for, carried by a woman wearing a dress I paid for, walking toward room 1608 to give it to my high school buddy, Chase Parker. A cold laugh squeezed out of my throat. Short, tasting of rust. The room was terrifyingly quiet. The rain outside seemed to hammer harder. I stared at the glaring transaction record, the cold light of the screen reflecting in my eyes. No ripples, just a bottomless, dead silence. The volcano was completely frozen over, but beneath the ice, dark red lava was roaring in silent, boiling rage. The screen went dark, reflecting my blurred, distorted face. The only sounds were the incessant drumming of rain and my own ragged breathing. Every inhale felt like swallowing razor blades. Just for fun. You won't know. Chase. Actually, I never forgot you. Men's belt. $1, 888. 00. These voices, these images, these numbers burrowed into my brain like venomous insects. I shot up from the sofa, my body stiff as wood, stumbling across the plush carpet toward the door. Fuck. A suppressed roar finally tore through my throat. My fist slammed into the heavy solid wood door with everything I had. Thud. The dull, heavy sound echoed in the room. Sharp pain shot through my knuckles, spreading instantly. But the pain brought a strange, momentary clarity. The door didn't budge, just like the iron wall my life had just slammed into. I couldn't do this. Lucas Morrow, don't lose it. I leaned back against the cold door, sliding down until I hit the floor, forehead against the wood, panting heavily. The beast inside me was thrashing, tearing at my guts, but the remnants of my reason held it back like a steel chain. I couldn't go to the Hyatt. What would that achieve, other than staging a farce of a catch in the act, exposing myself as a total failure to everyone's scorn? Kill them? Murder-suicide? Ruin everything I built for a pair of cheating dogs? Does Vivian deserve that? Does Chase? Does that bitch Lola? No, they don't deserve it. A chill of absolute, utter malevolence rose from my feet, rapidly freezing the mania and pain in my blood. Every emotion was compressed, solidified into a heavy block of black ice sitting on my chest. I looked up, staring blankly at the crystal chandelier. The light was blinding, but I felt nothing. My mind was a dead tundra. I needed to know more. Every detail, every shred of proof. I needed the kind of ironclad evidence that would nail them to the cross. I pushed myself up and walked to the desk. My movements were mechanical, but incredibly steady. I picked up my phone, unlocked it. The screen glowed like a surgical lamp. My fingertips were cold, moving with a ruthless precision I had never felt before. Monitoring playback. Fast forward through the empty house. I needed traces of her phone. Screen switch. I pulled up the home Wi-Fi admin interface. Complex traffic logs and device connection info scrolled before my eyes. My gaze scanned like a radar. Found it. The MAC address of Vivian's phone. Time lock. Around 7:48 p.m. tonight. The moment she bought that damn belt. Swipe. In the backend logs, every site her phone visited, every cloud service she tried to connect to. The records lay exposed like dissected nerves. There it was. A strange cloud drive address appeared repeatedly. Click. Password required. I took a deep breath. Tried a few of Vivian's usual combinations. Error. Her birthday? Error. My birthday? Error. Our anniversary? Error. A flicker of violence almost broke through the ice. I forced myself to remain calm. I couldn't access her phone directly from here, but I needed to get in. A vague thought flashed. Vivian had a habit. She liked to keep all important account passwords in a place she considered absolutely safe. A place she thought her work robot husband would never touch. My mental gaze shifted to the nightstand back home in Chicago. Inside, she kept an antique jewelry box, something left by her grandmother. She never let me touch it, claiming it held her girlhood secrets. I couldn't reach the physical box from the hotel, but I knew Vivian. She was sentimental, but she was also paranoid about losing her memories to time. She scanned things. She kept digital backups of her precious physical keepsakes. I sat back down at the desk and opened my laptop. I accessed the remote desktop application to connect to the home iMac. I navigated to a hidden system folder she kept buried deep in the drive. It was password protected. I tried the rotary combination from my memory of that physical box she kept. She once jokingly told me the combination was the day her life truly started. I always assumed it was our wedding. I typed 1003. Incorrect. My birthday? 0890. Incorrect. Her high school graduation? Or I typed 0809. August 9th. The folder opened. An indescribable chill swept through me. I guess right. She used a date related to him as the password for her most private digital sanctuary. I opened a document file titled Digital Diary. It was filled with Vivian's delicate handwriting, scanned in. Dates mostly from 2 years ago, some even earlier. Saw him at the reunion today. Chase. He seems more mature than before. Speaks well. Looks successful. He came over to talk to me, asked how I was. Lucas is great, but Lola is right. Some regrets last a lifetime. If only back then. He asked me for coffee today. Talked a lot about the past. The way he looked at me. My heart was racing. Should I be doing this? But I can't stop thinking about it. That belt really suits him. Swiping Lucas's card felt a bit weird, but he'll be so happy to get it, right? Just this once. Making up for the regrets of our youth. On the last page, there was the login credentials for that strange cloud drive. Username, Vivian S. Password. Loving CP0809. Love Chase Parker? August 9th? Was that graduation? Or their first kiss? Every character seared itself onto my retinas. I expressionlessly pulled up the browser on my phone. Entered URL. Username, Vivian's. Password, Loving CP0809. Login successful. A private cloud space unfurled before me. Not many files. A folder named Memories. One named Gifts, and one named him. I opened Gifts. Only one photo. It was the belt from today, the $1,888 one, the box tied with a ribbon. Below the photo, a caption. For my Chase, a late token of my heart. See you tonight. My knuckles turned white, threatening to crush the phone. Next, I opened him. Several photos. All Chase Parker. His profile swinging a golf club, a close-up candid of him eating at a restaurant, taken by Vivian, and one that looked like a scan of an old, grainy photo. Chase and Vivian in high school, standing under an old oak tree, shoulder to shoulder. Vivian's head was lowered, a shy smile on her face. Scanned handwriting on the back. Youth. Heartbeat. Eternal secret. Finally, an audio file. File name, 1608. I stared at the file name. Deep in my frozen heart, something cracked. My finger hovered over the play button for 10 full seconds. Then, with a masochistic calm, I pressed it. After a burst of static, Vivian's voice, breathless and hushed, filled with nervous excitement. Hello, Lola? It's me. Yeah, I'm here. Outside 1608. My heart is pounding. I'm a little scared. Oh, scared of what? You're at the door. Knock already. Lola's voice came through clearly, impatient. Remember what I taught you. Be aggressive. Be passionate. Men eat that up. Don't stand there like a log. But Lucas, don't mention that dead weight. Lola's voice spiked, sharp enough to cut glass. He's abroad. He doesn't know shit. Even if the sky falls, it won't hit you. Viv, listen to me. Let loose tonight. Throw the husband and responsibilities in the trash. Think about Chase. Think about how much you loved him. The chance is right there. Behind that door is the white moonlight of your youth. Go. Show some guts. Don't make me look down on you. Brief silence. Just Vivian's rapid breathing. Ooh. Okay. Vivian sounded like she was burning her bridges. I'm not kidding. Then, the audio picked up a knock, knock, knock. The click of a lock disengaging. A male voice, filled with surprise and a low, magnetic baritone. Chase. Viv. You came. Cool mean. Soft background music. The sound of a door closing. Wow, this dress. It's beautiful. Chase's voice held undisguised appreciation, bordering on sleazy. Wore it just for me. MH. Vivian's voice was slurred, intensely shy. Chase. Chase's voice moved closer, seductive. Viv, do you know? For all these years, I never forgot you either. Vivian interrupted him, her voice thick with drunken emotion and reckless abandon, exploding like thunder from my phone speaker. Back in high school, I loved you. So much. But your family. Then you left. I had to. But you've always been in my heart. Really. I never forgot. Viv. Chase sounded agitated too. The rustle of fabric. Muffled, ambiguous whispers. The background music seemed to get louder. Then, the audio cut off abruptly. Dead silence in the room. The rain seemed to have vanished. Only the residual echoes of those cheating dogs confessing their true love lingered in the speaker, licking at my eardrums like a snake's tongue. I sat at the desk, motionless like a lifeless ice sculpture. The screen's light cast a pallid glow on my face. A long time passed, long enough for the sky outside to shift from deep black to a sickly gray. Slowly, very slowly, I picked up the thick cardstock of the anniversary menu on the table. The edges were sharp. Then piece by piece I tore it to shreds. I tore it until the pieces were the size of fingernails. Then smaller and smaller, until they were unrecognizable, drifting down onto the carpet like white confetti from a funeral no one attended. The frozen volcano, deep into silence, slowly raised its hideous head. The dark red magma beneath the hard ice shell began to boil, silently and violently. The roar of the jet engines tore my ears. Outside the porthole, thick clouds rolled by, gray and oppressive. I leaned back in the cold leather seat of first class, eyes closed. 12 hours of flight, not a wink of sleep. The surveillance footage played on a loop in my brain, the photos in the cloud drive, that blinding transaction record, and that bone-eroding recording. Just for fun. He won't know. Actually, I never forgot you. $1, 888. 00. Men's belt. Viv, listen to me. Let loose tonight. Go. Every syllable was a poison needle. Anger, pain, humiliation. After the initial frenzy, these emotions settled, compressed into a cold, pure hatred that tasted of metallic blood. This hatred held me up like a steel rod, allowing me to maintain a facade of calm, enough to nod thanks to the flight attendant offering water. Sir, would you like a blanket? Her voice was gentle. No, thank you. My voice was steady, betraying nothing. The plane began its descent. Gravity pulled at me. The city's silhouette unfolded beneath the clouds, familiar yet alien. Home. That home. That was empty and cold on the monitor. What would it look like now? A wife full of guilt and filth? Or was she dreaming sweet dreams, savoring the aftertaste of last night's passion? The corner of my mouth hooked up in a cold, stiff arc. Touchdown. Phone on. A string of vibrations. Updates from my assistant. Irrelevant group chats. Nothing from Vivian. Not a single text. Good. I hailed a premium ride via app. Silence the whole way. The city skyscrapers retreated rapidly outside the window. The driver tried to make small talk. Just back from a trip, sir? Rough weather. Yeah. I stared ahead, focusing on nothing. The car pulled into the familiar complex. Swipe card, gate lifts. Stop downstairs. I paid, got out, movements efficient. Dragging my suitcase, I walked into the lobby. Elevator up. Numbers climbing. Ding. Apartment door. I took out my key, inserted it. Click. The door opened. A rich aroma of food, mixed with the sickly sweet scent of perfume hit me. The TV was on in the living room, blaring a noisy variety show. Vivian was curled up on the sofa with her back to the door, wearing the silk loungewear I bought her, her favorite. Her hair was loosely pinned up, exposing her slender, white neck. Hearing the door, she whipped her head around. Panic flashed across her face, instantly replaced by a surprised smile, natural as if rehearsed 1,000 times. Honey, you're back. Why didn't you tell me you were coming home early? She hopped off the sofa, barefoot, and rushed over, arms open for a hug. I missed you to death. Are you hungry? I made your favorite chicken soup to welcome you home. I stood still. The handle of the suitcase was still in my hand, like a cold shield separating me from her embrace. Her arms froze in midair, her smile stiffening, panic flickering in her eyes. Honey, she called out tentatively, carefully gauging my expression. I shoved the suitcase into the foyer with a bit of force. It hit the shoe cabinet with a thud. I raised my hand and gently brushed her suspended arms aside. The motion was light, but it established an undeniable distance. Tired, I walked to the sofa and sat down, sinking into the soft cushions. My eyes fixed on the noisy TV screen, ignoring her. Just got off the plane. Vivian stood there, fingers nervously twisting the hem of her silk top. The temperature in the room dropped to freezing. The laughter from the TV sounded jarring. Then, let me get you a bowl of soup. It's hot. It'll make you feel better. Her voice softened, ingratiating. She turned and walked quickly to the kitchen. I leaned back, closing my eyes. I heard the clinking of porcelain in the kitchen. A few minutes later, Vivian came out holding a white bowl, steam curling up from it. Here, taste it. I simmered it for hours. She placed the bowl carefully on the coffee table in front of me. The rich scent of chicken broth filled the air. I didn't move. Honey, what's wrong? Are you just exhausted? She sat next to me, leaning in, bringing a wave of perfume. She reached out, wanting to touch my forehead. You look pale. Just as her fingertips were about to touch my skin, I snapped my eyes open. My gaze was like two ice picks stabbing straight into her. Vivian's hand recoiled as if burned, the color draining from her face instantly. She looked at the unconcealed, bone-chilling coldness in my eyes, and her lips began to tremble. Honey, her voice shook. Last night, my voice was flat as a frozen lake. Did you have fun? Boom. The sentence exploded over Vivian's head. Her expression shattered. Terror flooded in like a tide, drowning her last shred of pretense. She scrambled up from the sofa, backing away, her body shaking violently. Her eyes were wide, pupils dilated with disbelief. What did you say? What, last night? She tried to deny it, but her voice was a broken whimper. Hyatt, 1608. I spat the words out like stones wrapped in ice. Vivian swayed, her face white as paper, as if all strength had been drained from her. She understood. I knew everything. Arguments were meaningless. The next second, thud. She dropped to her knees on the cold floor. Right at my feet. She shuffled forward on her knees, wrapping her trembling arms around my calves, tears bursting forth instantly. Lucas, I was wrong. I was so wrong. She wailed, sounding desperate and shrill. Forgive me. Forgive me this one time. Please. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. Snot and tears smeared her face, ruining her exquisite makeup, making her look pathetic and grotesque. I looked down, indifferent, watching her clutch my leg like a life raft. It was him. It was Chase, that bastard. He seduced me. Vivian looked up, eyes swimming in tears, trying to push the blame. He kept pestering me. He got me drunk. Said he never forgot me. I drank too much. I was confused. It was just a moment of confusion. Lucas. Her crying was full of grievance and regret. And Lola. She grabbed onto a new excuse, pointing the spear at her best friend. It was her. It was all her. Lola kept egging me on. She said you only care about work, that you don't care about me. She said I should live for myself once. She instigated it. She dragged me to meet Chase. She pushed me into that room. Lucas, you have to believe me. I was tricked by them. They ruined me. She screamed hoarsely, pushing every ounce of blame away, painting herself as an innocent victim forced into it. I watched her in silence, watching her tear-streaked face, watching the ugly desperation to escape responsibility, watching this woman I had loved and cherished for 2 years of marriage, now crawling like a stray dog at my feet, using lies and tears to beg for forgiveness. Truly, a nauseating performance. The warmth from her knees and the shaking of her body were clear, yet they couldn't melt a single shard of the ice in my heart. My gaze swept over the steaming bowl of soup on the table. The rich aroma now smelled like rotting mud. Forgive. The corners of my mouth slowly, stiffly, pulled upward, forming a smile cold enough to freeze bone marrow. Okay. My voice wasn't loud, but it cut through her wailing like ice scratching glass. I forgive you. Vivian's crying stopped abruptly. She jerked her head up, face still messy with tears and snot, eyes bright with huge, incredulous joy and relief. Really? Lucas? You really? Forgive me, she stammered, gripping my pant leg tight, afraid she was hearing things. Yeah, I answered faintly. I looked at her flushed face, detecting the trace of survivor's luck deep in her eyes. I leaned down and reached out. My fingers were cold. I gently brushed her wet cheek. The movement had a strange, eerie tenderness to it. You're my wife. My voice dropped lower, carrying a hypnotic, terrifying calm. Of course I forgive you. Vivian's body shuddered violently, not from excitement, but from the terror of my abnormal calmness and touch. Under the joy, the shadow of fear quietly returned. But I straightened up, withdrawing my hand. My tone shifted, devoid of any emotion. Your best friend Lola and Chase. My voice grew colder, like a wind from the Arctic. The debt they owe me needs to be settled, item by item. I paused, saying nothing more. My gaze fell back onto the hot soup. White noodles, tender chicken, thick broth. Who to start with? The frozen volcano cracked, open a fissure. Deadly toxic flames began to spread silently. Vivian curled up in the corner of the living room like a frightened rabbit, eyes red and swollen, stealing glances at me, afraid to breathe too loud. The soup she had carefully made lost its heat, a thin film of oil congealing on the surface. I picked up my phone. The cold screen steadied my chaotic thoughts. My fingers slid across the glass, opening an encrypted folder. Inside lay a gift, an appetizer I had meticulously prepared for Lola. It was a large file containing several videos and audio recordings Lola and Vivian had made on their phones around Lola's birthday. They had been partying hard and clearly forgot to stop recording. I found a key segment. The video shook badly. The background was a noisy karaoke VIP room with spinning, multicolored lights. Lola was facing the camera, microphone in one hand, screeching out a song, while her other arm was draped around a man who was drunk to the point of collapse on the sofa. He wore the uniform of some small company, a low-level employee with zero presence. Lola's face was flushed red with alcohol and excitement, her eyes manic and mean. "Huh, see this? This loser." She brought the mic to her lips, voice shrill and piercing, shouting at the camera, or rather, at Vivian, who held the phone. "He's an idiot from my department. Yesterday, he dared to sneak a report to the supervisor, saying I was slacking off. Fuck, so what if I slack off?" She slapped the drunk man's face hard. Smack, smack. The man didn't react. People around them laughed and jeered. "I'm going to teach him what happens when you cross Lola Reed." Lola gloated. She grabbed a glass of murky liquid from the table, forced the man's jaw open, and rudely poured it down his throat. The liquid spilled down his chin and neck, soaking his clothes. He coughed violently, body twitching in pain. "Ha ha, feel good? Here, let's add some kick." Laughing maniacally, Lola grabbed a small vial of clear liquid, contents unknown, and amidst the crowd's cheering, poured it into another glass, then forced it down the man's throat. The man struggled harder, letting out muffled whimpers like a dying animal. "Trash. Useless." Lola released him with disgust, letting him slide like mud into the corner of the sofa. She looked at the camera, face full of unmasked malice and contempt. "Scum like this just needs a lesson to behave. Viv, learn from this. You can't be soft on men. Play when you want, crush them when you want. Look at your Lucas, running around outside all day, probably in some wild woman's bed. What are you afraid of?" The video ended there. The final frame froze on Lola's face, twisted by sadism and alcohol, and her eyes filled with malice. Enough. I exited expressionlessly and opened another audio file. This was recorded inadvertently by Vivian's phone during a break at the party. Lola was whispering gossip to another female companion in the restroom, her tone acid. "Yeah, that new receptionist girl at our company. Looks pure as a daisy. Pfft, pure my ass. I saw her get into VP Wong's car after work. They hadn't even left the parking lot before they started sucking face. It was intense. Didn't VP Wong's wife just have their second kid? TSK, this girl is cheap. Anything to get promoted. That kind of slut deserves to be ruined. I'll accidentally leak this in the group chat later. And hey, you remember Mrs. Zhang from accounting? Always looking miserable. Her husband came out of the closet ages ago. Hooked up with a gym trainer. Mrs. Zhang is still in the dark, cursing us young girls for seducing her husband. Isn't that hilarious? The horns on her head. I'm embarrassed for her. Knowing this stuff is a killer weapon at the right moment. The recording filled with Lola's vicious, gloating laughter. These materials were like poisoned daggers glinting in the dark. I opened my laptop and logged into a highly secretive underground forum. In this gray area, money bought any service. I found a provider codenamed Shadow. He specialized in information, packaging, and viral distribution. Secretive but effective. An encrypted chat window popped up. Shadow requirement? Moro, materials sent. Target, Lola Reed, sales at Vertex Corp. Flashpoint, workplace bullying plus malicious rumors. Requirement, max propagation within 24 hours. Especially her internal company chats, local forums, all her social circles. Fast hard. Shadow, received. Material is rich. Video and audio, originals processed. Moro, clean. Metadata scrubbed. Rush order double price. Shadow understood. Watch the show. Transaction complete. A digital, cold-blooded process. I took my hands off the keyboard, leaned back, and closed my eyes. The thrill of revenge? Not yet. Just a cold sense of precision, like starting a program. Time ticked by. Outside, the sky went from gray to indigo, then sank into darkness. Vivian remained curled in the single armchair in the corner, knees hugged to her chest, like a lifeless statue. She didn't dare speak, didn't dare approach, barely dared to breathe. The ticking of the clock beat heavily against the solidified air. 8:00 p.m. The city lights flickered on. My phone buzzed. It was an encrypted link from Shadow, a temporary, untraceable anonymous webpage. I clicked it. The design was crude, but high impact. The massive, bold headline was like a red-hot brand. Mask OFF. Vertex Corp's Lola Reed bullying tape plus malicious rumor evidence. A monster in human skin. Below the headline was the KTV bullying video. The clarity had been enhanced. Lola's hideous expression and the victim's pain were blindingly sharp. Next to it was the restroom gossip audio, with a transcript naming the receptionist, the VP, and Mrs. Zhang's husband. The post-text was incendiary. Vertex Corp Sales Department, Lola Reed. Looks polished on the surface, but secretly a demon who bullies colleagues and destroys reputations. Video and audio proof. Using connections to tyrannize the office. Force-feeding alcohol and drugs to subordinates. Inhumane. Even scarier is her venomous heart. Fabricating and spreading privacy to ruin families. The list of victims is shocking. Despicable methods. Why is this social cancer allowed to walk among us? Share. Let everyone see her true face. Make her famous. Get her out of the company. Get her out of our city. The post was tagged with rage-bait keywords. Below, dozens of comments already flooded in, filled with shock and vitriol. WTF. My blood pressure is spiking. Is she even human? Force-feeding drugs? That's a crime. So vicious. I know that, Mrs. Zhang, she's so nice. Her husband. And this bitch laughs about it. Docs her. Company address. She doesn't deserve to live. Forwarded to the company group. Waiting for HR. At Vertex Corp officials say something. Keeping his trash around for the holidays? I knew Shadow's bot army had started working, spreading the link like a virus to Lola's company chats, industry groups, the biggest local forums, and every intersection of her social circle. Like a boulder thrown into a calm lake. The storm had begun. 9:00 p.m. My phone rang. The screen flashed Lola Reed. I picked up expressionlessly and hit speaker. Hello. My voice was flat water. Lucas. Lucas. From the other end came Lola's hysterical screaming, voice cracking with terror. In the background, notification sounds pinged relentlessly, sharp, piercing. Did you do this? That post? That video? Was it you? What post? I asked, feigning just the right amount of confusion. Don't give me that bullshit. Lola's voice twisted with extreme fear and rage. Vivian. It must be that bitch Vivian who sold me out. What did she tell you? Huh? You want to kill me? Kill you? I let out a cold laugh. Lola. Don't you know what you did? Did I force you to do those things? Lucas. You bastard. She broke down wailing, incoherent. It's over. It's all over. The executives' phones are blowing up. Every group chat is cursing me. The police. The police called about the drugging. What do I do? Lucas, please, take the post down. I was wrong. I'll kneel. I'll apologize. Let me go. Please. Her crying was desperate and shrill, filled with doomsday fear. I could imagine her wretched state. Emergency suspension, phone exploding, social circle collapsing instantly, facing criminal charges. Beg me. I repeated slowly, savoring the word. Lola, when you told my wife it's just for fun, what did you take me for? When you pushed her into Chase's room, did you think about today? Lola choked, reduced to hopeless sobbing. That big gift, I said calmly, every word hammering her fraying nerves, is what you deserve. Just a little interest. You lunatic. Devil. Lola lost control, screaming curses. You'll die screaming. You and that bitch Vivian will rot in hell. Click. I hung up, cutting off her curses and wailing. The world was instantly quiet. In the corner of the living room, Vivian jerked her head up. Her face was even paler than before, eyes bulging, filled with boundless horror. She had heard the screaming clearly. Lucas, what? What did you do to Lola? She stammered, teeth chattering. I didn't answer. I picked up the bowl of cold, congealed chicken soup from the table, stood up, and walked to the kitchen. Splash. The thick, cold soup was ruthlessly dumped into the sink. Leftover meat and noodles stuck slimily to the white porcelain. I turned on the tap. Cold water rushed down, hissing. Lola's screams seemed to echo in the empty living room. Vivian curled into the shadows, shivering like a frozen bird, breathing carefully. Fear soaked the once warm house like ice water. I washed the bowl. The sound of water was harsh in the silence. Vivian flinched again. I turned off the tap, dried my hand with a paper towel. Deliberate. Ritualistic. The gears of revenge wouldn't stop for Prey's fear. Lola's interest was paid. Now for the main course. Chase Parker. The name rolled over my tongue, tasting of rust. The surveillance footage, the photos, the belt. Thoughts surged. Forgive? Non-existent. I wanted him to pay a price worse than death. I went to the study, opened my laptop. The screen light washed my face in white. My fingers danced on the keyboard. Not work emails. I accessed a hidden dark web portal, a place where sunlight didn't reach. Login successful. The interface was grim. Objective, special service. Not simple elimination. Too cheap. Search keywords, accident, long-term, non-lethal, max suffering. Cold terms for cruel intent. Filtering options. I found a provider codenamed The Doctor. Profile. Medical grade precision. Customized results. Permanent souvenir. Chat opened. Moro. Demand. Male target, 32. Create high credibility, accidental car crash. Result. High spinal cord injury. C5, C7 preferred. Permanent quadriplegia. Retain some upper limb function. Conscious. No death risk. Time. ASAP. Doctor. Target info. Health. Route. Vehicle. Budget. I sent the dossier I'd compiled on Chase. His black Mercedes E-Class, his route from his company, the high-end gym he visited, screenshots of his maintenance records, proving the car was fine, even his recent physical. Doctor. Data solid. Feasible. Target route. Skyline Drive, West Side. After rush hour, moderate traffic, many curves, steep drop-offs beyond guardrails. Plan. Use modified remote EMP pulsar, disguised as electronic interference. Briefly paralyze power steering / braking. Combine with road surface slick deployed ahead. Loss of control, impact, rollover down slope. Simulate short circuit fire, masks EMP trace. Forensics will rule it unfortunate system failure. Doctor. Result. Based on simulations, 92% probability of permanent paralysis from neck down. Budget. 50 BTC, 30% down, rest on completion. Moro deal. Down payment sent. Time. Doctor. Tomorrow night. Target returns from gym Wednesdays. Weather. Light rain, favorable. Await news. Transaction complete. Crypto transferred, untraceable. I wiped the history. The screen went dark like a deep well. Outside, night swallowed the city. The next day, business as usual. I went to the office. Vivian stayed home like a frightened bird. Phone silenced, afraid to contact anyone. She tried to serve me tea, eyes full of terror and fawning. One cold look from me sent her scurrying back to her corner. Silence was the only language. The air was solid. Evening came. Rain began to fall, tapping the glass. 7:15 p.m. My private phone lit up. An encrypted message, 2 letters. Gomi finger tapped the desk. Top, top, top. Like a countdown. 7:45 p.m. Vibration. Target on route. Phase 1 engaged. My heart beat steadily. Cold numbness. 8:05 p.m. Phase 2 confirmed. Impact. Rollover. Fire contained. UMS en route. Concise as a military briefing. Skyline Drive. Out of control Mercedes. Rollover. Fire. I could visualize the twisted metal, the smell of burning rubber in the rain, and the broken figure in the driver's seat. Less than 10 minutes later, the local news app notifications swarmed like sharks smelling blood. Breaking. Serious crash on Skyline Drive. Mercedes loses control, plummets down embankment. Fire at scene. Driver critical. Suspected electronic failure. Rainy roads dangerous. Investigation underway. I tapped the notification. Below the headline were blurred but shocking photos. The twisted wreckage of a black sedan stuck in the rocks below the road. Hood crumpled, smoking. Ambulance lights flashed blue and red in the rain. Comments exploded. OMG. Car is totaled. Is he alive? That curve is cursed. Mercedes E-Class? Electronics failure? Scary. Prayers falling from that height. Dead or paralyzed for sure. I closed the app, face blank. The study door burst open. Vivian stood there, pale as a ghost, shaking violently. She clutched her phone, screen showing the crash news. Her eyes bulged with terror, staring at me, lips trembling like a dying fish. It was you, she rasped, voice shaking apart. Chase, she says accident. You did it, didn't you? I slowly looked up from my desk, meeting her terror-filled eyes. The rain outside seemed louder. The corners of my mouth slowly lifted. Not a stiff smile this time. A cruel, predatory grin. What do you think? Detectives arrived the next afternoon. 2 uniformed officers, serious but routine. Mr. Morrow, the lead officer, flashed a badge. Regarding the crash on Skyline Drive last night, we need to ask a few questions. You know Chase Parker? Vivian jumped like a stepped-on cat, pale, trembling. I stood up, blocking her from their view, calmly. Dull. High school buddy. My voice was steady. Come in, officers. I'll cooperate. They sat. Vivian huddled near the dining table, terrified. Have you been in contact recently? The officer asked. No. I shook my head naturally. Rarely since graduation. He went abroad. I've been busy. Saw him in the alumni chat. Knew he was back in town doing well. I feigned regret. Never thought this would happen. How is he? I see you. Not optimistic. High-level paralysis, likely quad. The officer noted my reaction. We check his logs. He glanced at Vivian. He had a call with your wife, Mrs. Sterling, yesterday afternoon. Brief, seconds. Mrs. Sterling, care to explain? Vivian shuddered, looking at me in panic. I answered flatly for her. Officer, I know about that. Vivian got a call from a strange number. It was Chase. He just said hello. Vivian felt awkward and hung up immediately. Right, Viv? I turned to her, gaze calm but heavy. Yes. Vivian nodded frantically, grasping the lifeline. He called suddenly, said long time no see, heard you're married. I hung up. I felt it was inappropriate. The officer frowned, skeptical, but with her panic and the short duration, there was no evidence. They asked about my whereabouts. I had a rock-solid alibi. Working late at the office, witnesses, cameras. All right, thanks for your cooperation. The officer closed his notebook. Call if you think of anything. Will do. I walked him out. Door closed. Vivian collapsed on the floor, gasping, sweat on her forehead. The interrogation was torture for her. I ignored her. My gaze went to the bedroom vanity, to her prized possession, a large, royal blue velvet jewelry box. I walked over and opened it. Inside lay dazzling jewels. The engagement ring, a flawless 5-carat diamond. A platinum necklace with small diamonds I gave her last anniversary. Teardrop diamond earrings. Diamonds. Pure, hard, eternal. Symbols of my love. Her pride. Now, under the lights, they glared coldly. I picked up the engagement ring. Cold and hard. Honey. Vivian had crawled to the door, weak and scared. What are you doing with the ring? I didn't answer. Gripping the cold diamond, I walked out. Into the kitchen. I pulled out a small ceramic crucible I kept for hobbies, and a butane kitchen torch. Clicked the valve. Ignited. Whoosh! A blue-white tongue of flame roared to life. Heat warped the air. No. Don't. Vivian followed, saw the torch, and blanched. Lucas, what are you doing? Expressionless, I used tongs to place the ring into the crucible, blasting it with the blue flame. Hiss! Under the intense heat, the symbol of eternal love began to change horribly. The surface went hazy, glowing eerie orange. Like melting ice, it twisted, softened, collapsed. The sharp edges vanished, turning into a puddle of thick, cloudy liquid. The brilliance died, replaced by a dirty, grease-like dullness. Ah! Vivian screamed, lunging to grab it. My ring. My diamond. No. Lucas, you're crazy. I sidestepped easily. Her nail scratched my arm. I didn't care. I watched the puddle bubble, smelling of burnt metal. Eternal? Pure? Just slag. Get back. My voice was low, icy. Vivian froze, trembling, watching her million-dollar pride turn to ash. I didn't stop. Tongs grabbed the necklace. Into the fire. Sizzle. The platinum turned red, softened, snapped. The tiny diamonds popped like sugar crystals in the heat, instantly losing their luster, turning into small, cloudy bubbles that merged into the growing puddle of disgusting, molten slag. Then the earrings, one by one, Vivian's most cherished possessions, were fed to the blue hellfire. They turned to ash and gray sludge amidst her silent weeping. The box was empty. I killed the torch. The blue flame vanished, leaving a cooling, ugly, irregular lump in the crucible. It looked like a cursed stone. The kitchen smelled of chemicals. Vivian sat on the cold tiles, eyes dead, tears falling. Her vanity burned to ash. I picked up a pot. Inside was the chicken soup she made this morning, now cold, yellow fat congealed on top. I picked up the crucible. Tongs lifted the ugly, still warm diamond slag. No. No. Lucas, please. Vivian realized something, scrambling up, shaking her head. I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please. Too late. I flicked my wrist. Plop. The hot slag hit the cold soup. Hiss. Steam shot up. The soup boiled instantly around the stone. It sank, covered in grease. I stirred slowly with a ladle. The cold, greasy soup coated the ugly rock. Then, I scooped up a ladle full of congealed fat, meat scraps, and that black-gray stone. I turned to Vivian. Drink. I held the spoon to her lips. Grease dripped onto the floor. You earned it. Vivian's eyes bugged out, staring at the spoon. Her ring. Her necklace. Now a dirty rock in cold grease. No. She screamed, slapping at the spoon. Smack. I held the spoon firm. Cold soup splattered my hand. Drink. My voice dropped to a subterranean growl. My other hand shot out, clamping her jaw like a vice. Forcing her mouth open. MMPH. MMPH. She struggled wildly, eyes bulging. I didn't flinch. The spoon pressed against her lips. The cold, greasy, foul-smelling soup touched her tongue. Hatsihu. The sound of vomiting exploded in the silent kitchen. Vivian arched, stomach turning inside out. Cold soup mixed with bile sprayed from her mouth. Ack. Cough, cough. Hurl. She coughed and retched, snot and tears flowing. I held her jaw. Vomit ran down her chin and my fingers, dripping onto her expensive silk, smelling sour. I let go. She slid to the floor like mud, curled up, twitching, dry heaving. The spoon emptied on the floor. The gray stone rolled out, clack, covered in filth. I wiped my hand with a paper towel, deliberate and slow. Seems, I said, looking down at the wailing heap. You don't like the treat I prepared. Vivian froze, sobs suppressed by terror. She looked up, face smeared with filth, eyes filled with absolute fear. Like looking at a demon. Don't come near me. She wheezed, crawling backward. I looked down at her, watching the destruction of her soul. Revenge burned cold and satisfying. Lola ruined. Chase destroyed. Vivian broken. Enough. The killing intent receded, leaving a cold fatigue. I turned and walked to the study. The next few days were a cold liquidation. Vivian wandered the house like a ghost, terrified. Day 3. My divorce lawyer arrived. Mr. Morrow, Ms. Sterling. Divorce agreement. The lawyer placed documents on the table. Vivian trembled. The lawyer pushed his glasses up. Based on evidence provided, video, logs, diary, spending, Ms. Sterling committed adultery. Major fault. Regarding assets, premarital kept separate. Marital assets, this house, the car, and Ms. Sterling's name, accounts, go to Mr. Morrow. Ms. Sterling waives all rights. He continued. Furthermore, Ms. Sterling is to pay $5 million in damages for emotional distress. If unable to pay, we will pursue enforcement. No. Vivian moaned. That's not fair. I have nothing. Fair. I spoke finally. Vivian, when you were in Chase's bed, when you bought that belt, was that fair? She choked. Sign it. My voice was ice. Or I send the videos to your parents in your office. Let them see what kind of person their precious daughter really is. The last bit of fight left her eyes. She picked up the pen like it was red hot. Her hand shook. Tears hit the paper, blurring the ink. The lawyer handed her a tissue. She wiped them away, and with absolute resignation, signed her name. Good. The lawyer packed up. Ms. Sterling, please verify your personal items. You need to vacate the premises within 3 days. Leave. She looked up, hollow. Yes, the house belongs to Mr. Morrow. Vivian collapsed. I went to the study. Door closed. Outside, the city was gray. Revenge complete. Lola, committed to a psych ward. Chase, paralyzed, family bankrupt. Vivian, destitute. Reputation ruined. They got what they deserved. I looked at my reflection. Calm. Cold satisfaction. Like finishing a dirty cleaning job. My phone buzzed. Assistant. Mr. Morrow. Undertow Coffee merger plan sent. CEO wants to meet. Undertow. Interesting name. Arranged tomorrow, 3 p.m. Rachel Moore, CEO of Undertow, was sharp, 40, professional. Mr. Morrow. The core of Undertow is power in stillness. We target those who seek quiet focus amidst the noise. She handed me a dossier. Financial strategy. We want to be the anchor for the high net worth individual. Power in stillness. I repeated. Interesting. The world is noisy. Yes, we offer clarity. I looked at the logo, a deep blue ripple. Leave the file. I'll give you an answer in a week. After she left, I stood by the window. The sun set, casting gold on the glass. The anger was gone, replaced by total control. The chessboard was clean. My phone lit up. Message from the cleaner. Target 1, Lola, institutionalized. No threat. Target 2, Chase stable, quadriplegic. Family ruined. Monitoring. Deleted. Night fell. Obstacles removed. Time for a new game. 3 months later. A massive white yacht cut through the dark blue Mediterranean. Sunset painted the sky gold and red. On the top deck, I leaned back in a lounge chair, a glass of ice water with mint on the table. Footsteps. Daniel, my new assistant, approached. Mr. Morrow. Undertow's Paris flagship opening stats. Fully booked. Huge success. I looked at the horizon. Rachel was capable. Undertow was booming. A symbol of quiet power. Also, Daniel added, the report on the supply chain. Understood. I flipped through the Paris photos. The sea breeze was fresh. The yacht moved steadily. The Revenge had settled into a bone-deep satisfaction. Lola, Chase, Vivian, gone like dust. I picked up the water. Cold. Refreshing. Was it satisfying? Yes. A pure release born of absolute control. Like a surgeon excising a tumor. Mr. Morrow, dinner is served on the terrace. Good. The yacht plowed through the waves, sailing into the golden light, unstoppable. Below the surface, currents might rage. But above, there was only the open sky and the course I had set. Story complete.